Hi guys, in this video we're going to be talking about dividing rational expressions. I really want you to understand before we get going that this is really the exact same lesson as yesterday when we did multiplying rational expressions. The one difference is this. I know that instead of dividing by 2 I can multiply by 1/2. Dividing by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. Dividing by 4/3 is the same thing as multiplying by 3/4. In other words, instead of dividing, we are going to flip the fraction and multiply. That's what we're going to work on today. If you can simply remember that whenever we see the division sign, we're just going to flip the fraction and multiply, then you'd be absolutely fine because it's a repeat of yesterday's homework. So for instance, when I get a problem like this, 7x over 2x minus 10 divided by x squared minus 6x over that, all that stuff, right? Instead, I'm going to simply write it as multiplying by x squared minus 11x plus 30 over x squared minus 6x. Notice the thing that I flip is only the thing after the division sign, so I'm only flipping this piece right here. Now it's a matter of factoring it and reducing stuff down and finding out what I have for my final answer. Top left, 7x, that's easy. Bottom left looks like I have a 2 in common, so let's pull that out. If I pull that 2 out, that looks like I have x minus 5 remaining. On the top right, I need two numbers that add up to negative 11, multiply to 30. That's negative 6, negative 5. And in the bottom right, it looks like I have an x in common, so if I pull out that x, I'm left with x minus 6. Now looking forward, the x minus 5s cancel out. The x minus 6 cancels out, right? And then I also have these lone x's which can cancel out. Those go away completely, and the only thing I'm left with is the 7 on top and the 2 on the bottom. Shoot, that goes all the way down to 7/2. That reduces to 3.5. Unbelievable, right? One more. What if there's only one term at the bottom, right? One term that I'm dividing by, okay? Instead of dividing by it, remember we could write that as over 1, and we could say that really the first thing is 6x squared plus x minus 15 all over 4x squared times 1 over 3x squared plus 5x. We could rewrite it as that. So now the time comes, the hard part of this problem is actually not knowing that, but how do I factor the 6x squared plus x minus 15? So just a quick review. Remember, whenever we have 6x squared plus x minus 15, how do we attack this whenever there's a number in front of the x squared? First thing first, we take 6 times negative 15. And 6 times negative 15 would be negative 90. And we say, okay, I need terms that multiply to negative 90, so I've got like 90 and negative 1, negative 90 and positive 1. I've got 2 and 45. One of those has to be negative. I've got 3 and 30. And one of those has to be negative. 4 goes into 90. Does 90 go into 4? Hold on. I don't think it does. It does not. 5 and should have had this written out beforehand. 5 and 18. One of those has to be negative. I don't have anything that adds up to 1 so far, right? Which is what I'm going for. So I need to go a little bit farther. How about 10 and 9? You know what? It's 10 and 9, isn't it? So which one of those adds up to positive 1? I know it has to be this pair. So I'm going to rewrite this. Instead of plus x, it's going to be plus 10x minus 9x minus 15, right? So just I split this off into the 10 and the negative 9. I've got to pick the correct pair for this to work after this. Now I go through and I factoring by grouping. Look at the first two. What do they have in common? Well, I could pull a 2x out of the first two. That leaves me with 3x plus 5. And then out of the last two, it looks like I have a negative 3 in common. If I pull out a negative 3 out of these two, I'm left with 3x plus 5. That's very convenient. Since I have the same thing inside the parentheses both times, this regroups to 2x minus 3. The things outside the parentheses get a pair. And then 3x plus 5 is the other pair of parentheses. So that was the tough part of this problem. Let's go back and insert this in for the 6x squared plus x minus 15. So, top left is 2x, minus 3, 3x plus 5. Bottom left is 4x squared. top right is 1. The bottom looks like I can pull an x out, and if I do that, I'm left with a 3x plus 5, conveniently. So now I look at this and I say the 3x plus 5s will go away. I'm left with 2x minus 3 on the top, and I have 4x squared times another x on the bottom, which is 4x cubed. So that was a complicated problem, but I want you to understand that the reason this was complicated is not because it was a division problem, which is the new skill for today. It was just getting from here down to here, which means pulling up some old information from like first semester, and we haven't done that in a while. So I understand if you're a little challenged with it, but there we go. That should be enough to get you through the homework today.